happy in meeting you all through this online faculty development program. I'm happy to note that the Department of Computer Science and Engineering and the Department of Information Technology of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering is organizing 1 week online FDP on cloud computing. I congratulate the HODs of Computer Science and Engineering and IT for their efforts. We all know about the significance of cloud computing. Being considering the importance of this area, all universities include this title as one of the subjects, both theory and practical. And the organizers, they are planning for this FDP in 12 sessions, including online assessment as the last session. And they are planning for 6 days, every day from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 15th June to 20th June. And I congratulate and appreciate the resource persons of this online FDP, Dr. Anto Kumar, Dr. Andrews, Mr. Gavaskar, Mr. Varun, Mr. Bright Jose, Mr. Anthony Jones Kumar. And regarding the participants, I came to know from the organizers that after uploading the poster about this online FDP, we got a lot of responses. And I am glad to note that the participants are from our state, the other states, and abroad. And on behalf of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, I welcome all the participants. And with this, I am proud in inaugurating this 1 week online faculty development program on cloud computing. All the best wishes for the success of this online faculty development program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, few instructions to the participants. Please mute your mic to avoid disturbances during the FDP. Also, I request you to switch off your camera to reduce the internet data usage. After the talk of the guest speaker, you can ask your queries by two ways. You can type your questions in the chat window and the speaker will address the queries. Or you can make hand raise and ask your queries. One more thing, very important thing, here the attendance is monitored by the software. So I request all the participants to join for this meeting with the credential shared to your email ID. So please check your mail, and we already shared a credential to you. The credential will start like this: CC, some number will be there, then hyphen, and your name will be there. So please copy the credential from there, from the mail, and you can use that credential to joining this this FDP program. Because by that credential only, we will be finding your attendance, and as per that attendance only, we will be issuing the certificate. So those who are didn't join using that credential, please log out. Then please join again with that credential. Then now I like to give an introduction about this FDP. This FDP is planned to satisfy the objectives of the 7th semester course CS 8711 Cloud Computing Laboratory of 2017 regulation of Anna University curriculum. The various topics were explained to you as per the following schedule. Today, that is 15/6/2020, introduction to cloud computing, then install VirtualBox VMware workstation with different flavors of Linux or Windows OS on the top of Windows 7 or 8. This will be handled by Engineer S. Gavaskar. Tomorrow, that is 16/6/2020, we will be discussing about installing Google App Engine, creating Hello World application and other simple web application using Python or Java, using GIE launcher to launch the web application, and it will be handled by Engineer CM Varun. On 17/6/2020, we will be discussing about simulate a cloud scenario using CloudSim and run a schedule scheduling algorithm that is not present in CloudSIM, and it will be handled by engineer J. Bright Jose. On 18/6/2020, we will be discussing about installing a compiler in virtual machine created using VirtualBox and execute simple programs. Then find a procedure to transfer the files from one virtual machine to another virtual machine. It will be handled by Gavaskar, engineer Gavaskar. On 19/8/2020, we will be discussing about find a procedure to launch virtual machine. It will be on 20th. You find a procedure to launch virtual machine using TriSAT, and installing Hadoop node application will be handled by engineer S. Gavaskar and engineer L. Josephine Usha. Now, I like to introduce today's speaker. Today's speaker is engineer S. Gavaskar. He like to call him as Clouder S. Gavaskar. He has completed ME in Network and Internet Engineering from Karunya University, Coimbatore in the year 2009, and BTech Information Technology from St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, affiliated to Anna University in the year 2005. He has having 14 years of software experience, where he worked with various technologies such as SQL Server 2005, MS Access, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle 10G, .NET Framework, VB.NET, C#.NET, ASP.NET, XML Web Services, HTML, JavaScript, XML, PHP, IAS, and Apache Tomcat. Presently, he is working as assistant professor at St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering and as a cloud or software consultant in G Software. He has conducted workshop on various titles like .NET Technologies, C Programming with a Simple Example, and server-side technologies. His areas of interest include semantic web, big data, cloud computing, mobile application development, and Internet of Things. He has developed college management software for an engineering college in South India. He has developed QSubload application for OMCA Munjirai. He is technical evangelist or clouder in Alibaba Cloud with more than 25 plus clouder certification and 2 associate certification in cloud computing and cloud security. He is now in world top 3 Alibaba Cloud in Quora. He is one of well-known reviewer of Alibaba Cloud in G2.com. He is an active writer in LinkedIn and published 4 articles in LinkedIn. He is the founder of Alibaba Clouder India Virtual Forum and AWS Clouder India Virtual Forum. With this introduction, now I invite engineer S. Gavaskar to start his demonstration. Welcome, Gavaskar. Gavaskar?
It's visible, sir? It is visible? Okay.
Okay. Wait, it is loading, Gavaskar, wait. Yeah, now your presentation is visible, Gavaskar. Gavaskar,
Okay.
one more instruction I have to give the participants, please wait. I request the participants to mute your audio and video. Also, please log in using the credential given to you through your email ID. So please check your mail and please log in with that credential. Few of the participants now also joined here without that credential. So I request those participants to log out from here, then again join with the credential shared to you through your email ID. Now over to Gavaskar. Gavaskar, please.
Okay. Thank you to Dr. Agdo Kumar for giving a good introduction about me. So today I am going to handle about introduction to cloud computing. Myself, I am S. Gavaskar. I am working as assistant professor in St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering. And for the past 2 months, I am working as a clouder in Alibaba Cloud. Okay, the agenda for today's webinar is, first we are going to see about introduction to cloud computing. Then we are going to see the concepts such as virtualization, then what is about physical machine, what is virtual machine, then we are going to see what is physical OS, and then we are going to see what is the host OS, and what is hypervisor, and what are the different types of hypervisor present. Then we are going to see about cloud computing services such as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Then we are going to see cloud computing deployment models such as public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Then we are going to see the installation of VirtualBox and VMware workstation. Then finally, we are going to install some flavors of OS in both VirtualBox and VMware workstation. So now, first, we are going to see the introduction to cloud computing. The cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing resources such as service, database, storage platform, infrastructure, application, etc. over internet. So it is nothing but we are going to use the service which is present already. We are not going to create our own services. Already some services are there, and that we are going to use on demand. That is the usage of cloud computing. Okay. Then go into the concepts. So we have to, before moving to create some application in cloud computing, we have to know about virtualization. Then, so now we can see what is virtualization. It is a computer architecture technology by which multiple virtual machines are multiplexed in a same hardware machine. That is nothing but you may have one machine with you and one physical OS is installed. In that physical OS, what you are going to do is, by using virtualization software, you are going to install multiple OS with the different flavors, such as Linux and Windows. And why we are going for a virtual machine concept? That is nothing but why we are going for virtualization is to enhance the resource sharing and to improve the computer performance in terms of resource utilization and application feasibility. So main purpose of virtualization is to increase the resource utilization of the system. Okay. Now we are going to see what is a virtual machine. So it is a guest machine, we will tell. It is a software simulation of the hardware platform that provides virtual operating environment for a guest operating system. That's nothing but the virtual machine is a machine which you are going to install in your physical OS. Physical OS is a machine which is present with you. In that we are going to install a hypervisor software, and using the hypervisor software, you are going to create multiple virtual machines. That's okay. Then the another important concept you have to know here is a hypervisor. So what is hypervisor? The other name.
Gavaskar, excuse me. Can you make your presentation full screen as a presentation?
So full screen. If I am making it just full screen, it is not displaying. That's a problem.
Okay. Gavaskar, continue.
So now we are going to see about hypervisor. So other name is for the hypervisor is virtual machine monitor. It is a software which you will install in the host hardware platform. That is not in the host OS. In your physical machine, one OS will be there. In that OS, you will install a software that is known as hypervisor. Okay. And using that hypervisor, only what you will do is you will install multiple guest operating system on the virtual machine. So you have to know here the hypervisor is a software. That's nothing but we are going to see today. We are going to see about two softwares, that is VMware Workstation and VirtualBox. It's a software. Another name for this is a virtual machine monitor. Using this software, what you can do is you can create multiple guest OS in the virtual machine. That you have to know here. Okay. Now the next slide we are going to see the difference between traditional computer and virtualized computer. So you have to know the difference. You see the A that is a traditional computer, and B is a virtualized computer. You see, in traditional computer there is only one operating system. Hardwares are there, only one operating system is there, and in that above operating system you may install some applications. Okay. But you see, in virtualization, what I am going to do is, I am going to include a virtualization layer. That is nothing but I am going to install a hypervisor or virtual machine monitor. It's a software I am going to install. And what I am going to do is, using that virtualization layer, I am going to create different virtual machines. Virtual machines I am going to create. And in that different virtual machines, what I am going to do is, I am going to install different guest OS. Okay. So you have to know the terms is very, very important here. The what is physical OS you have to know. And the physical OS is the OS which you install in your machine, that will tell us a physical OS. And what is the guest OS is the OS which you install in the virtual machine. We will tell that as a guest OS. And how we will do that is by using hypervisor or virtual machine monitor. So the terms is very, very important here. The terms such as physical machine, virtual machine, physical OS, then host OS, both are same. Physical OS and host OS is same. And guest OS you have to know. Then hypervisor. Hypervisor, that is nothing but hypervisor or virtual machine monitor. Three names are there. We can tell us virtualization layer also. Okay. Now, the next slide, we are going to see what are the different types of hypervisor present. There are two types of hypervisor. You have to know. There are two types of hypervisor. First one is the type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. So other name for type 1 hypervisor is bare metal hypervisor and hosted hypervisor. So normally in the industry, they will mention bare metal hypervisor. They will not mention the term type 1 hypervisor and hosted hypervisor. They will tell. So what is bare metal hypervisor is, in the bare metal hypervisor there is no OS. The machine will be there, server machines will be there. You will install some software on the server machine, and by using that software you will create the virtual machines. There is no OS is going to play in bare metal hypervisor. Most of the cloud providers are using bare metal hypervisor nowadays. They are not using hosted hypervisor. But in case of hosted hypervisor, you see, what you are doing is, you have a physical machine. In that physical machine, what you are going to do is, you are going to install a OS. That is what? Physical OS you are going to install. Hosted OS you are going to install. And in that OS, what you are going to do is, you are going to install a hypervisor. That is nothing but VMware or VirtualBox you are going to install. And using that hypervisor software, what you are going to do is, you are going to create multiple guest OS. So clearly you have to understand the difference between bare metal and hosted virtual hypervisor. Okay, that is nothing but in bare metal hypervisor we are not going to use any OS. That's the main thing you have to know. There is no physical OS is present. Only the thing is some softwares we will install in the machine, in the service. So the important thing you have to know, most of the cloud providers they are using nowadays, they are shifting to bare metal hypervisor. These two words here is very, very important. Okay. Now we are going to see the diagram for hypervisor, type 1 hypervisor, that is bare metal hypervisor. You see, physical machine is there, that server is there. In that server, hypervisor is installed. Okay, hypervisor is installed. That may be what? The hypervisor is nothing but VMware EXI server, KVM, Hyper-V, XN. These are the hypervisors present under this category. So most probably, during coming 20th, we are going to see the demo for EXI server also. It is a product of VMware. We are going to see that. It is not open source. So we have to get license for using EXI. Okay, here you see, only the hypervisor will be there. That is nothing but you will Hyper-V or EXI, you will install in the machine. Predefinitely you will install in the machine. And through that hypervisor, what you will do, you will create a virtual machine. And in that virtual machine, what you will do is, you will install multiple guest OS. Okay, so clearly you have to understand, in bare metal hypervisor, we are not going to use the OS. We are not going to use physical OS. Yes. Now we are going to see about hosted hypervisor. Okay, it's an important concept. Please listen. Hosted hypervisor, what you are going to do is, you see, you are including operating system. Your hardware is there. There is nothing but your machine or server will be there. In that machine, what you will do is, you will install the operating system. And in that operating system, what you will do is, you will install the hypervisor or virtual machine monitor, or you will include a virtualization layer. In that layer, what you will do? By using that layer, you will create virtual machine, and using that virtual machine, you will create a multiple guest OS you will create. Okay, you understand? So now in most of the companies, they are not using type 2 hypervisor. So for our demonstration, we will use hypervisor type 2, but the companies they are using only the bare metal hypervisor they are using in most companies nowadays. Okay, so I hope you understand this. Okay, so you have to know the clear difference. Okay, now we are moving to what is VirtualBox and what is VMware Workstation. Okay, so VirtualBox and VMware Workstation both are used for creating virtual machines. Okay, in where in your physical machine, physical OS, using physical OS, you can create virtual machine. And both falls under which category you have to know. Both VMware and VirtualBox will falls under the category type 2 hypervisor. It is not type 1 hypervisor. Okay. In VMware, EXI product is there, that falls under the category type 1, that is bare metal hypervisor. Okay. So now again you have to know what is the difference between VirtualBox and VMware Workstation is. VirtualBox, it is open source. It is developed by Oracle and it is open source. It is available open source. Just you can download and you can use that without any licensing. You can use that. But VMware Workstation, it is not open source. You have to get license. But for 30 days trial, we can use, and later we have to get the license key. Then only we can use for it. This is VMware Workstation. Okay, I will read. Oracle VirtualBox is a free and open source hosted hypervisor for x86 virtual machine developed by Oracle Corporation. It is an open source software. Then VMware Workstation is a hosted hypervisor that runs on x64 version of Windows and Linux operating system. Enable user to set up virtual machine on a single physical machine, use them simultaneously along the actual machine. It is a paid software. We have to get license. That is the difference you have to know. Both are hosted hypervisor, or it falls under the category type 2 hypervisor. But the difference is Oracle VirtualBox is open source and VMware Workstation is not an open source. We have to get license for that, for using VMware Workstation. Okay. Now I am going to move to different cloud computing services. Everyone may be familiar with this. I am going somewhat faster. I am going to skip this. Okay. Now, what is IaaS? Infrastructure as a service. Any cloud service provider. You see about Amazon Web Service, Alibaba Cloud, Google Cloud Platform, any service provider you can use. All the service providers will provide this kind of services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Now you have to know what is infrastructure as a service. Okay. So it's nothing but on-demand provisioning of virtualized infrastructure needed for running a college or running a company. That is this infrastructure such as servers, storage, and network will be provided for you. Okay. So most of the cloud providers, leading cloud providers, are providing infrastructure as a service. Moreover, this service will be used by the corporate companies. So they did not want to buy a server. They did not want to invest more on buying the server, storage, and network. Directly, they can use the service which is provided by the service providers. That is infrastructure as a service. Then, second one we are going to see about platform as a service. So platform as a service is mostly used by the software developers. Okay, if you are going to develop an application in .NET, you did not want to download .NET and we have to install .NET. Everything will be predefinedly installed, and platform for development is created for you. You can use that. And again, it is not free. You have to pay something for using that. This provides a platform allowing customers to develop and deploy application and service. And finally, we are going to see software as a service. So everyone may be familiar with software as a service. Day-to-day life, we are using software as a service, but we don't know that we are using software as a service. If you are if you are using Gmail, or if you are using Google Meet, everything is a software as a service. They are providing the software. You are using that freely. You are using that. It's a software license and delivery model. Software license on subscription basis and is centrally hosted on the cloud. Here you see, if you are using Gmail, we are not going for subscription. It is freely available. But some services, if you want to create a storage in Google Cloud, 15 GB is provided freely for you. If you want to have additional storage, you have to pay for that. That is subscription. Then finally, you see it is a difference between all the computing services. First one is on-premise. If you are going to use on-premise, you have to see about you have to maintain servers, storage, networking, virtualization, operating system, runtime, data, everything you have to manage. But you see, if you are using infrastructure, servers will be managed by the cloud service provider, storage, networking, virtualization. All this will be managed by the cloud service provider. What you have to do is, you have to install the operating system, you have to install your application, and you can work with your data. That is infrastructure as a service. And platform as a service, you see, servers will be provided, storage will be provided, network will be provided, virtualization layer will be provided for you, operating system will be installed, and runtime, everything will be installed. What you have to do is, you have to create your application. I told that already. It will be mostly developed by the developers. You have to install your application and you can work with the application. You did not want to bother about surveys, what surveys are used, how many surveys are used. You did not want to bother about storage, networking, everything. Then you see software as a service, everything will be provided for you. You did not want to bother about runtime, data, application, survey, storage. Everything will be provided by you. That we tell us software as a service. So you have to know the difference between infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and what is the disadvantage of using on-premise. On-premise disadvantage is mainly you have to invest more on upfront cost. Upfront cost will be more. That is nothing but if you are going to start a company or startup company, you have to invest more on service, then network switches, This can be avoided by using cloud service providers. That you have to know here. Then finally, we are going to see deployment models. So everyone, I hope that everyone may be familiar about this: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Public cloud, it is freely available. It is freely available, and general public, anyone can use that. It is freely available. Okay. Now the private cloud is most used by the corporate companies. So if they want to store some details, confidential detail, if they are not believing the cloud service provider, they will create an on-premise cloud and they will store that detail there. That we will tell as private cloud. And hybrid means both will be there. Some companies know the private details, they will use on-premise cloud storage, and for some public information they will store on the public cloud. So that we tell as hybrid cloud. That you have to know here. So that is public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. And finally, we are going to see some cloud service providers which are available. So here you see, these are the top 4 cloud service providers available: Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba Cloud. Now you see the the market share percentage, 53% market share is held by Amazon Web Service. So it's a leading top market share is available, is provided by top market share is occupied by Amazon Web Service. It is nearly 53% or 53%. Then Google Azure, Microsoft Azure is going to contribute 16 to 70%. 70% of market share is occupied by Microsoft Azure. Then Google Cloud Platform, 8% of market share in the world is occupied by Google Cloud Platform, and around 6 to 7% market share it is shared by our Alibaba Cloud. And again, one more thing you have to know here about Alibaba Cloud is it is one of the top provider of cloud services in Asia Pacific region, Southeast Asia Pacific region. In our region, it is the topest provider. You have to know that. Okay. So that once again I will shortly recap what are the things we learned. Okay. We have learned what is virtualization. So then we learned what is the physical machine, what is the virtual machine. Then we learned what is physical OS. So what is guest OS? What is hypervisor? Hypervisor is a software used for creating virtual machine. What is the other name for hypervisor is virtual machine monitor, or it is a virtualization layer, we can tell. Then there are 2 types of hypervisor: type 1 hypervisor, type 2 hypervisor. Type 1 hypervisor is also known as bare metal hypervisor. Type 2 hypervisor is also known as hosted hypervisor. So what is the difference here is difference between both hypervisor is in type 1 hypervisor there is no OS. But in type 2 hypervisor, physical OS will be there. Through that physical OS you will install the hypervisor, and through that hypervisor what you will do is you will create a virtual machine, and through that virtual machine you will create the guest OS. Okay. Then we learned different cloud services and deployment models we learned, and finally we learned about cloud service providers. Okay. Now we are going to move to our lab. Okay. So before moving to the lab, what are the prerequisites needed? So now we are moving to how to install VMware and VirtualBox. Before installing VMware and VirtualBox, what you have to do is you have to go to the boot option. Okay. You have to check your machine. So you have to, for my machine, boot option for F10 is the key you have to press. So each and every system, based on the manufacturer, the boot key option will be changed, will be different. You have to go to the boot option, and what you have to do is you have to enable virtualization. This is needed. If you are not enabling this, the virtual machines will not work properly. So this is the prerequisite you have to do. And some other prerequisite is you have to download the ISO image file of Windows machine. So if you are going to install Windows 7, what you have to do is you have to download Windows 7 ISO file. Then if you are going to install guest OS, that is Linux OS, Ubuntu flavor, if you are going to install, what you have to do is you have to download that particular ISO file you have to download. But again, you see here, licensing problem will be there in Windows 7. But that's open source Ubuntu software, Ubuntu operating system, you can download from the net directly. That's one site is there, osboxes.com. From there you can download. Okay. So now we are moving to the demo. So first what we are going to see is we are going to install VirtualBox and VMware, and then second we are going to install various flavors of OS in VirtualBox and VMware. So now we are going to move to the demo. So first we are going to see how to install VirtualBox. So I will.
Madam.
So it is visible. Okay. Now see.
Varun, Gavaskar, wait. Yeah, now it is visible, Gavaskar.
Okay. Now what we are going to see is how we can download VirtualBox and how we can install the VirtualBox. Again, what is VirtualBox? It is a hypervisor. Okay, it's a hypervisor. How to install this hypervisor? Again, this falls under the category type 1 hypervisor. Okay. So now I will play the video. You see. Now download. First, what you have to do is you have to download VirtualBox from this below link. Okay. So now I have used the version 6.0. It's the latest version. 5.0, 5.5 is also there. So just if you are please note this URL, or just you can type in the Google VirtualBox. You will be directed to this website. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to go to virtualbox.org wiki/download_old build 6.0. Then you have to install. Okay. First, now you see you have to go to this URL. Okay. Now I am going to that URL. Yes. Now you see you have to download Windows host. Okay, Linux host will be there. Linux will be there. I am not going to use. I am going to install in Windows. So I am going to download for Windows. Okay. So it will take 2 to 3 minutes based on internet speed. So it will not run more for 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, you have skipped the video. Okay. Now I'm going to installer. One installer will be created. Okay. So now you see VirtualBox 6.0. Okay, exe file will be there. You have to double click that. You have to double click that. Again, just you have to click next. It's very simple installation. We did not want to choose any option. Just you have to press next. Okay, next. Again next. Again yes, you have to install some drivers. You have to install. Again install. Okay. Okay, now it is working. It will take 1 to 2 minutes for installing the VirtualBox. Okay, it is completed. Finish. You have to click finish so that now we can start the hypervisor. Okay, VirtualBox. Okay, now you see this is a window present here. If you want to create a new virtual machine, you can create by clicking new. Now, if you want to export your machine to some other virtual machine, you can use export and import. If you want to import some other virtual machine in present, no, you can use import. That is appliance. That's another concept. If time possible, I will explain that. Okay. So now, I hope the video is completed. Okay. Now installation is over. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a virtual machine in the hypervisor, type 1 hypervisor. That is what? That is VirtualBox. Now we are going to do that. So let me share the screen. So now you see what the step is. I told already, you have to download the ISO file of the Windows 7. Now here what I am going to do is I am going to install the Windows 7. Now what is the name for this Windows 7 is it is a guest OS, okay, or any other OS. If you want to install Windows SP, you can download that Windows SP. Okay, the ISO file should be there. Then I am going to create a virtual machine. Then I am going to select this ISO file. Okay, I am going to load this ISO file in the virtual machine, and I am going to install this OS in the particular virtual machine. And finally, I am going to run the Windows OS. This is for guest OS. So you have to know here, this is a guest OS. What you are installing above the hypervisor, we will tell that as a guest OS. Okay, now we can see that. Now we are going to say how to install a guest OS, that is Windows 7, in using VirtualBox. Okay, so now again, so now the same procedure I am going to display that in the video. You are going to get the guest OS, that's Windows 7, and the format is ISO format. Then you are going to create a virtual machine. Then again you are going to import this ISO file, and you are going to load this in VirtualBox. Then you are going to install the guest OS, that is Windows 7, and running the guest OS Windows OS. Okay, so now it will take nearly 30 to 35 minutes for installing. Okay, now you have to open the virtual machine. Okay, VirtualBox, new. You have to click new. It's not, sorry, you have to click new. Okay, new. Now here you have to provide the virtual machine name. You have to provide what name you are going. Demo. You can give Windows 7 demo, or you can give your name. The name you have to provide here. Okay, and to provide the name, and you have to choose the operating system. The type of the operating system you have to choose. Here I am going to install Windows, so you have to choose Windows. Then version you have to go to choose. Okay, so different versions will be there. Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 8, all the versions will be there. Windows SP. You have to choose it. And the 32-bit, you can choose either you can install 32-bit or 64-bit. It's not a problem. You have to choose that. Correspondingly, you have to choose that. Okay. Now I am giving XSCC_Windows_1. So this is a virtual machine name I am going to provide. Okay. Now you see here by default, you have to choose the memory size is 2 GB. You can choose 1 GB also. But here one important thing you have to know here is capacity planning is very, very important. Okay, in your physical machine, you think that in your physical machine only 2 GB is there, 2 GB RAM is there. If I am allocating 2 GB RAM here, what will happen? Your physical OS will be slow, very much slow. You cannot work with your physical machine. Okay, so you have to plan the capacity accordingly. It is very, very important concept here. So if you are using 2 GB RAM system, you can choose only 1 GB here, or 0.5 GB you can choose. Okay, for me, in my case, I am using 6 GB RAM. My system has 6 GB RAM, so I am going to allot 2 GB. Okay, so this is an important part. I forgot to mention previously. It is an important part you got to know. Capacity. This will tell us capacity planning. Here I am going with default 2 GB. Okay, if you are using Windows 7, 1 GB is also enough. Since in my system more capacity is there, I am going with 2 GB. Okay. Now yeah, I'm going to choose the RAM memory. Okay, it is going to share from the physical machine. That's so you should be very much careful in this. Even here also. So by default it is 32 GB. Here you can use 100 GB also. But what is the constraint is you have to check whether your physical OS have particular configuration is there. Okay, if your physical OS is 100 GB, if you are giving 150 GB, it will not work. Okay, what problem will come is your physical machine will hang. That's the main problem here. Okay, then you have to create a virtual hard disk. Virtual hard disk I am going to create. The size is 32 GB. Okay, this is creating virtual hard disk. By default 32 GB will be there. If you want, you can increase. That's not a problem here. Okay. Then VDA format. Which format you are going to choose? Then here you see, this is I told 32 GB is a default. I am going with the default. Okay. If you want, you can choose. You can choose change the storage. Again, capacity planning is going to play here. Okay. Now create. Now virtual machine is created. Okay, virtual machine is created. You see, within a click, virtual machine is created. You can see all the configuration here. So what is the RAM size? Then storage you can see, storage normal 32 GB. I am going to with 32 GB since it's a demo. Now I am going to start. Okay, if you have to click start button, you can start the virtual machine now. Okay, so you see till now I didn't choose the ISO file. Now what I am going to do, you see the virtual machine is started. Now you see the virtual machine is started. Machine is started. Now what I have to do? What is pending? I have to load the ISO file, Windows 7 ISO file. Now I have to load Windows 7 ISO file. Now you see this is empty. By default it is empty. Okay, you have to click this folder so that you have to choose the location where Windows 7 is present. You have to choose the location where Windows 7 ISO file is present, image file. Okay, now you see in my case it is present on the desktop. I have copied that Windows 7. You see this is ISO file. This image file is present. Now you have to click start. Now Windows 7 will be loaded. Okay, now it will take nearly 30 to 35 minutes for loading. Okay, so I recorded all the procedures. So in the meantime, I will skip some procedure. Okay, I hope everyone know how to install Windows. It will take nearly half an hour, 20 to 25 minutes it will take for installing Windows. So now you see it is loaded. Windows 7 is loaded. Okay, now first you have to choose languages. It's normal procedure. Okay, now the installation is normal procedure as you install in physical OS, physical machine. Okay, but what you are doing is we are going to install in a virtual machine. That is a difference here. Setup is starting. Yeah, all the procedure is same as which you install in a physical machine. There is no difference. Okay, you have to choose the version, whether you are going to install Windows 7 Ultimate. Okay, since it's a demo, I am going to choose Ultimate. Now again next. Now you can upgrade it. If already you installed, now you can upgrade. You can allocate the disk space. You see 32 GB is coming here. Why 32 GB is coming? I have allotted only 32 GB. Okay. So now it will take nearly 20 minutes it will take. So I'll be waiting for 2 to 3 minutes. I will skip the in between procedures. Okay. So at Ando sir, hello, Ando sir.
Yeah, Gavaskar,
Shall I skip the procedure or you have to tell all the procedures? It is 20.
Tell all the procedure. Tell all the procedure.
All the procedure, it will take 20 minutes. 19 minutes. I think 15 more minutes are there for installing Windows. No.
Okay, no issue, Gavaskar, because
So it will be running. In between, I will not be talking. It will be running. Yes, no problem.
Okay. See, expanding Windows file it is showing. What is the next step? You can show it. That's enough.
Next step, no sir. It is installing Windows. I am going to install the Windows. No, it will be going.
Yeah, installing the Windows means you can fast forward.
Okay. I will skip this. Okay. So participants, I am going to skip this. It will take nearly 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. It will take for installing the Windows. It is normal procedure. Okay. So this will copy the file.
Sir. Sorry for interruption. So while skipping, please wait for some minutes, sir. Some of them are not able to get the video once you skip.
So
skip the video, you can fast forward and wait for some minutes so that everybody got loaded about that, and then you can continue.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. So participants, I hope that everyone video is visible for everyone. If it is not, no, we can. If you want, I can repeat again. No problem. Okay. So see, I am going to install Windows, so it will take nearly 20 to 25 minutes. Okay. So now what I am going to do is I am going to skip and I am going to the last procedure. Okay, that's nothing but it has to copy all the files. Nearly 2 to 3 GB files are there to copy to the hard disk. It will take time. Okay, I have recorded all the video. Again, I am going to skip. Okay. So you see, it taking 95%. Now 97% is completed. Now installing update. Okay, installing update. Now it will take 1 to 2 minutes for installing the update. Okay, now installing update is completed. Now installation will be completed. Now installation is completed. Now you see you have to restart the system. Okay, it is going to restart. Okay. Now after restart, no, it is loaded from the hardware, from your hard disk. Okay. You see, VirtualBox is loaded. Okay. Now you see it will ask for booting from CD. If you are clicking enter, no, it will boot from the CD. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to leave that. Now the Windows is starting from your hard disk. From your hard disk, no, the OS is starting now.
Gavaskar, in between, you can make a pause and we can ask the audience whether they are the video is visible. Like that, we can continue.
Okay. So participants, whether the video is visible for you, you can send message in chat window. It is visible video.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yes, visible. Okay. So whether we have to repeat once again, then we can repeat once again. It will take only 2 or 3 minutes. Rest of the step, no, it is for installing the Windows only. For loading the Windows OS, it will take only 1 to 2 minutes.
Gavaskar, all are saying it is visible. So
Okay. So now you see the Windows is loaded. It will take again 1 to 2 minutes for loading the Windows from our hard disk. Okay, from the virtual hard disk which we created. So now it is loaded. Setup is starting. Services. Again, it will take further 2 to 3 minutes to complete the initialization process. Okay, it's completing. So now I'll skip little bit. I'll skip the procedure. So now again it is starting. Windows is starting. Now it is loaded. Okay. Now you have to provide your name for your this OS. Okay, this computer. Okay. Now I am giving HSCC _ Windows. Now again next. So number hyphen is not included. Okay. No. Next. Okay, you have to give the password. If you are not providing the password, also no problem. Later you can provide by choosing the account. Now you have to change the time zone. I'm going to choose the time zone as 5:30 plus 5:30. Again next. Again public network. Any one network you can choose. Later you can configure, no problem for this. So another 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now it is ready. Your Windows 7 guest OS is ready. Okay, it's preparing your desktop. Okay, now your OS is ready. Okay. So this is a steps for installing installing guest OS. Here in my case, the guest OS is what? Guest OS is the Windows 7 OS. Now again, one more thing you know, please listen. You see the screen is smaller. If you want to make it as a full screen, so what you got to do is one more step you got to do. Okay. Please listen the now listen carefully the steps. Please listen carefully, I will explain. So now you see, now if you want to connect the network, no, if you want to share the files, you have to install some driver. Okay, so listen, all of you listen carefully. If you want to install, if you want to share a file from a physical OS to the guest OS, you need a driver. Okay, network driver should be there. And one more thing, display driver, you see the screen is smaller. Okay, you see the screen is smaller. Why it is smaller is display driver is not there. So for installing the display drivers, some drivers, what you have to do is you go to devices in VirtualBox, no, go to devices, you choose install guest additional CD image. Okay, please choose this. If you are not choosing this, no, if you are not installing this, what will happen is you cannot share the file from the guest, from the physical OS, that is physical OS, to the guest OS. That's the virtual machine. It's not possible. So what you got to do is you got to choose this option. Okay, please note this. Install guest additional images. See, install guest additional images. So it will take some more time. So I'm going some more time for installing install guest additional voice. So you have to close this. Okay. Now see, it will come here. Driver will come here. Okay. Listen, when you are choosing that option, no, this one removal storage will be added for you. Okay. When you are choosing that particular option, I told devices additional last option you have to choose. This drive will be coming for you. You see this drive coming for you. Now you have to click this. Okay. Now you have to click this. Okay. Now see some installation file is opened. It's nothing but you are going to install some drivers. Okay. Display driver and network driver you are going to install. Okay. So please note this. If you are missing this step, you cannot install, cannot share the file. Okay. Now you see next program. You see the program is what we are going to install a C compiler. So for the C compiler, we are going to share from the physical OS to the guest OS. So that will not happen here. Okay. So you have to do this option. Next, I can choose what are the softwares you have to install. You can choose that. Okay. Next, install. It will take some more time for installing. Install. You have to click install. It will take another 1 to 2 minutes for installing the drivers. Okay, now finish. Reboot. Now you have to reboot. If the changes has to apply, no, you have to reboot. Now you see after rebooting, the screen size will be bigger. Full screen size will be coming, and we can share the files also. See? Now you see, it's coming in the full screen. Okay, now all the drivers are installed, so it is coming in the full screen mode. Okay, so I hope you understand. Full screen. Okay, switch. It will be coming in the full screen. Okay, so that we can use this as a normal OS we can use. Okay, so now you see network. So I'm going to shut down network. I will share in the next session. I will share how to use network. Okay, how to network. That I will see in the next video. You can see. Okay, I hope you understand. So once again, I'll repeat the nutshell. What you have to do here. So first you have to download VirtualBox. You have to install VirtualBox. Then you have to download. You have to use the ISO file. You can download the ISO file, or just you can copy the ISO file. Windows 7 ISO file is needed. Then you have to import. You have to create the virtual machine first. First you have to create the virtual machine by choosing the configuration. Here important thing is what? You have to capacity planning is very, very important. Okay, if your RAM size is 2 GB, the physical OS RAM size is 2 GB, you can choose only 1 GB here in the guest OS. Okay, you cannot choose 2 or 2.5 GB. That is very, very important here. After creating the virtual machine, what you have to do? You have to load the ISO file and you can install the guest OS. Okay, I hope you understand. So now what we are going to see is, okay, now again we are going to see how to install VMware Workstation. Okay, in your first exercise, two hypervisor is given. Okay, two hypervisor is given. First one hypervisor is VirtualBox. Second hypervisor is Ubuntu. About VMware. Now we are going to see how to install Ubuntu. Ubuntu in VMware Workstation. Okay, first we can see. So first we can see how to download and install VMware Workstation. Again, one more thing you know here, VMware Workstation is not free. It is a licensed version. So what you have to do is, first you have to create account in VMware. Okay, you have to create account in VMware. And what you have to do is, after you have to give login, username, password, you have to download the VMware Workstation, you have to download. And the downloaded version, no, you can use only for 30 days, trial days. Okay, after that it will be expired. So after that, what you have to do is, you have to purchase the license. So I will explain how to. I have created account already. So what you have to do is, you have to create account, then only you can download. Okay, so now I will explain that how to install VMware. Okay. So now we can see. I hope it is visible. Yes. Okay. Now just in the Google, you type VMware Workstation. You type VMware Workstation. So you will be taken to download VMware. Okay. Download VMware Workstation. Okay. This is the VMware website. Okay. Website. You will be taken to that website. Just you go type in the Google VMware Workstation. So you will get the current version. Okay. So now you see product details. VMware Workstation Pro 12.5.9. It is a current version. Okay. So now you click go to downloads. So now you click go to downloads. It will take the user login page. Okay. It will be taken now. You see download now. Download now. You will be taken to the username password. Okay. Listen. First, so what you have to do is, first you have to create an account in VMware. That is mandatory. Okay. You have to create account. Then only you can use this. Okay. Now again I will play the video. I am giving my own account. Then password. You have to provide the password. Now you have to sign in. Okay. So now see here, the product detail is there. Now you have to click download. Okay. 4.1 MB is there. It will take more time. It will take 10 to 15 minutes for downloading. So now what I am going to skip many steps. Downloading step I am going to skip. Okay, hope I will repeat again. So what you have to do is, first you have to go in Google. You have just search VMware Workstation. Then you will be taken to the VMware homepage. There you have to create first you have to create account. Okay, you have to give your username password. You can download the VMware software. Okay, VMware Workstation software you can download. So now it is downloaded. Now it is downloaded. VMware Workstation full. It's downloaded. Now you have to click. So now we got to install. VMware Workstation full install. Okay. So important thing is only 30 days trial version. Okay. So when you are explaining for the students, no problem. 30 days is enough for you. Or you have to get the crack key you can get. Okay, that is also there. I am working with that only. Again, you have to click next. Again, next. Now install. Okay, you have to click install. Okay, now it is ready. VMware Workstation is installed in your system. Okay, and you have to click finish. You have to restart. You have to restart the system initially. For one time you have to restart. Now I am clicking no. Now I am proceeding to the, you see, VMware Workstation will be installed in my machine. Okay. So I hope everyone understand this video. Just what you have to do is first you have to create account in VMware, or by using FileHorse or any other third party website also you can download the VMware software. It's not you are not mandatory that you have to download from the VMware website. You can download from the third party website also. You can download the VMware software. Okay, and then you have to click install. That's all. Okay, now the step is over. Installation is over. Now what we are going to see is we are going to create a virtual machine in VMware Workstation. We are going to create a virtual machine in VMware Workstation, and we are going to install a Ubuntu OS, Ubuntu 15.01 OS, 15.10 OS we are going to install. Okay, that's nothing but in our first exercise it is mentioned that you have to install different flavors of OS. Okay, initially I installed Windows 7 in VirtualBox. Now I am going to install Ubuntu 15.10 OS in VMware Workstation. Okay, now we can see that. So now we can see how to install Ubuntu Guest OS in VMware Workstation. Okay, here also what you have to do is first you have to download the Ubuntu ISO file. You have to.
Java sir, wait. We are not able to see the video.
Okay.
And now we can see your desktop.
Yeah, it is okay. Okay. Now you see, now we are going to first what you have to do is you have to download the Ubuntu OS. Okay, the website which you can use is OS Boxes. www.osboxes.com. You can use for downloading the Ubuntu OS. Again, Ubuntu OS, you see, it is maybe 2 to 3 GB file will be there. You get to download that. Okay, or you can get from your system administrator. You can get that file, ISO file. You can get that. Okay, so first you have to get that before installing the Ubuntu OS. Now you see. So now listen. This is a GUI. This is a graphical user interface of this Workstation Pro. Here, you can, by using this plus button, you can create a new virtual machine. Then existing virtual machine you can use by open virtual machine. If your existing virtual machine is there, you can use that. Then if you want to connect to cloud and you can create some machine, you can do that. Okay. From the remote server, if you want to connect to the virtual machines present in the remote server, you can use by this options. Okay. Now we are not going to use this. We are going to use only create a new virtual machine. Okay, now again typical. Okay, now typical next. Now listen. Here you have to now listen carefully. Here first in the previous we have what we have done is we have after creating the virtual machine we have choose the OS. Here initially you have to choose the OS. Okay, you have to click browse and you have to choose the ISO file of the particular OS you are going to install. Okay, browse. You have to click browse. Okay, now you see I have downloaded the Ubuntu ISO file, Ubuntu 15.10 ISO file. I have downloaded already. You can find this. Okay, I get to choose this. Now you have to click next. Now you have to give the name. Okay, you have to give the virtual machine name. Now I am giving XSCC Linux 1. Now again I am going to provide the username and password for this. So username I am providing as admin and password as welcome. Okay, now again it is asking the virtual machine name. Now it is asking. Okay, now so same name is present already. Okay, already I created some machine with the same name, so it is giving an error. Now you see here also the capacity planning is very important. Here by default it is 20 GB. Okay, by default you see. By default it is 20 GB. Okay, here also the same procedure what I told in the previously in the capacity planning, you have to follow that same procedure. Okay, by default it is 20 GB. Now again click finish. Now see virtual machine is created. Okay, you will do 64-bit 1. Now again click OK. Now it will be installed. Okay, virtual machine will be installed. It will take another 10 to 15 minutes. No, it will take more than 30 minutes. So for installing Ubuntu, it will take more than 30 minutes. So I have skipped many steps. It will take more time for installing Ubuntu. It is loading. Now Ubuntu is loading. Sir, sir, shall I skip some steps or?
They can follow if we skip.
It's installation procedure, sir.
Okay, then
there's some background. One more is there. Installing one more video is there, and that is installing DOS OS, and it will take 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, because they must understand what we are explaining. Okay. So according to that, you can plan.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now listen all of you. Here you have to provide your OS name. In OS, some name has to display. That you have to provide. By default, it is coming XSCC Linux 1. If you want, you can change here. Now listen carefully. Here you have to provide your username and password. Okay, username and password. If you are familiar with Ubuntu, no problem. You may experience this. Okay, now if it's new, you have to provide this. So now you have to provide the username and password. Now I am providing my username, the administrator username I am going to provide, root user. Okay, I am the root user now. I am providing the root username and the password. Password is welcome. Okay, now again continue. So weak password, no problem. Again, you click continue. Now it will take nearly 10 to 15 minutes for installing the Ubuntu OS. Now I am going to skip some steps. So it will take nearly 10 to 15 minutes. So I am going to skip some more steps. It is not next. Let's just what you got to do is you did not want to do anything. It will be running background. It will be running. Okay. So I will skip some steps. So it's completed. Final step is going on. Now it is loaded. Okay. Okay, now Ubuntu OS is loaded. And now you see the Ubuntu OS is loaded. XSCC, this is a username which I have provided, and you have to provide the password. Okay, you have to provide the password. Okay. Now we will be taken to the Ubuntu OS dashboard. Okay, this is the dashboard. Okay, this is a Ubuntu OS 15.10 I have installed. And so what is another name for this is what? It is a guest OS. It's another guest OS which I installed using VMware Workstation. Okay. So now once again I will recap the steps what you have to do. First you have to create, if you are going to download from the VMware website directly, you have to create account in VMware. Okay. Then what you have to do is you have to, in Google you have to search VMware Workstation Pro. It will be taken to the VMware website. You have to provide username, password. Then you have to download that VMware Workstation Pro exe software you have to download. It is 400 MB software. You have to download that. Then how to download is you have to provide username password. Then what you have to do? You have to install that VMware workstation. Then using that VMware workstation, you have to click create new virtual machine option, and you have to choose the ISO file, which Ubuntu OS you are going to install. That ISO file you have to choose, and you have to choose the storage and RAM size, and then you have to install that. Okay, here again I am repeating, insisting this capacity planning is very important. Okay, thank you. Now next video we are going to see how to install DOS OS. Okay, I hope that everyone know about DOS OS. Okay, actually no, I supposed to install that first. I forget, so now I am going to install that. I'm going to display the video how to install DOS OS in VirtualBox. Okay, so now I am going to show that. So now we are going to see MS-DOS. So I hope everyone know what is MS-DOS. It's a lightweight OS. Okay, so there is no graphical user interface will be there. Only what we can type the commands. If you want to create a directory, make directory. If you want to go inside the directory, CD. If you want to come out of the directory, you have to use cd dot command here. Only the command line interface is possible. There is no graphical user interface in MS-DOS. Okay, so now I am going to explain how to install MS-DOS in VirtualBox. Okay, VirtualBox hypervisor. Now again here, step 1. You see step 1, you have to download DOS ISO file from the below link. Okay, this is from this link you can download the DOS OS. Okay, I checked in the internet, many links are there, but that file is not working. Okay, so some files now which you download from some other website, it will not be work. But here is in the dosworld.cezweb.org. If you download the ISO file from this website, it is working. Okay, so you can use this. Then you have to install the DOS OS in VirtualBox, using VirtualBox. First you have to download the DOS OS ISO file, then you have to install this DOS OS in the VirtualBox. Okay, so now we can see that's it. Using VirtualBox. Okay, now first you got to start VirtualBox. Okay, Oracle VM VirtualBox you got to start. Okay, now the same procedure which you are used for creating Windows 7 guest OS you have to do here. Okay, now first you have to give the name, then what type of OS. Here you see Microsoft Windows is there. You got to change as DOS OS. That is very important. DOS. So now you see other. You have to choose other. Automatically it will come there. DOS. Okay, you have to choose DOS. Okay, it's important. Now again next. Now see here also. You see, I told you it is a lightweight OS. Why? You see, only 32 MB is needed for installing this OS. No, only 32 MB is needed. But if you are installing Windows, no, minimum 20 GB is needed. But you see here, only 32 GB is needed for installing DOS OS. You know, same procedure. Okay, you see, the recommended hard disk is no 500 MB. Only 500 MB is needed for installing DOS OS. Okay, now create. Now again the same way, by default some options will be there, just use it. Then now you see here by default is 500 MB. Now if you want I can change as 1 GB or 100 GB or 2 GB I can change. Okay, so again here capacity planning is an important thing. You have to notify. So I am changing as some 600, 500. Okay, I am going to change the storage. Now again create. Now you see that DOS OS is created. Now you have to start. Okay, you have to start this OS. Okay, right click this, start, go to start, normal start. Okay, now here again you see the OS is, there is no ISO file. What you have to do is you have to choose the ISO file by clicking this folder option. You have to choose the location of the ISO file. You see, this is the location. DOS. Now I click OK. Open. Now starts. Now see, you will get this option. Okay, install DOS, then boot from hard disk. Okay, first what you have to do is you have to choose first option. First you have to install the DOS OS in your hard disk. Okay, after that you have to boot. You have to put you have to choose that option. Okay. So now it will, many steps are there. You can use only the keyboard. You cannot use mouse here. Okay. So now first you have to click next. Next. Then again you have to agree. Again see here, listen carefully. Here no, we cannot use our mouse. Only the keyboard is possible. We can use for changing the option. No, we can use spacebar for changing this option. And for changing to agree, I don't agree, you can use tab for changing. Okay. And if you want to go for next also, you can use tab. Okay. Now again continue. It will ask for the partition. So it will ask for the partition. You have to choose the default partition. Okay. Then reboot. You have to reboot. So again one more time the same procedure you have to do. First time again one more time. Okay. Agree. Continue. Yes. Okay. Path. Yes. Yes. You can choose full or yes. Now click OK. Continue. Yes. So more number of drivers we ask. Now you can skip this step. No, if you're pressing no, you can skip. This will ask for drivers, installing more drivers. Okay, more number of options will be asked. You can skip that. No. I'm skipping many steps. No. I'm not going to install any. Just what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a directory and I'm going to display the directory. That's the thing. That's the thing I'm going to do here. I'm not going to create any program. Again cancel. So many steps are there. If you want, you can give yes or you can give no. Okay. So in many steps I has given us no. Yes. Now you see enable UME memory, load boot, then continue. Now you see continue. By default some options are there. I'm going to go in with that option. Now it is installed. Okay. Now Windows OS is installed. MS-DOS OS is installed. Now you see. Now I am going to boot. Okay. It is booting automatically. You see the command prompt is coming here. Okay, see now I told no DOS OS there is no graphical user interface. So only the command line will be there. Now you see I am going to create some directory. Create 2 or 3 directories I am going to create, and I am going to display that directory in a tree format. I am not going to do any program. Just I am going to create 3 to 4 directories. I am going to display the directory in a tree format. Now you can see that. Now make directory. I am going to create a directory. XSCCE. You can try with some other commands also. And create directory. So, okay. Now I am going to go inside the directory XSCC. CD XSCC. Okay. Now again I am going to create one more directory. mkdir CSE. Okay. So first directory is SSCC and second directory is CSE. Then again I am going inside the directory CSE. That's nothing but I am going to create a folder. Yes, then make directory students. Okay. Now again make directory, one more directory I am going to create as faculty. Make directory faculty. Okay. Now again, now I am coming out of the directory cd dot. Okay. Now I am going to display the directory in 3 formats. C colon. Okay, all the things are displayed in the tree format. You see here. So all the directories present in the DOS OS will be displayed here. See, you see, all the directories will be there. Now our directory SSCC, CSC, students, faculty will be there. Okay, now next what I am going to do is I am going to display only this directory XSCC, CSC, students, faculty. Okay, now you see. So now you see only the directory of SSCC, XSCC, CSC, students, faculty will be displayed here. Okay. So that's all. So once again I will repeat what we have to do here. First you got to download the ISO file of the DOS operating system. Then what you have to do is you have to open the VirtualBox, you have to create a new virtual machine, and you have to import this DOS ISO file in the virtual machine, and you have to run that. Okay. And again you see one more thing you have to remember here, we cannot use mouse inside this DOS operating system. Everything we have to use by pressing the tab. If you want to move to some other option, you have to press tab, and if you want to choose the particular option, you have to press enter. Okay, that's the thing you have to remember here. We cannot use mouse here. Mouse operation is not allowed inside the Windows operating system. Okay, so now that's all for the day. So again, I will once again I will recap what are the concepts we learned today. So once again, we can have a short recap. Okay, first we have learned about the introduction of cloud computing. Okay, it's on-demand sharing of resource through internet. Okay, we are not creating our own resource. We are going to utilize the resource already present in the internet. Okay, then another important concept we have learned about is virtualization and hypervisor. Okay, hypervisor we learned. In virtualization, that's nothing but it's a very simple concept. We are going to create more than one guest OS in your physical machine, physical OS, by using virtualization software. Okay, by using hypervisor or by using a virtual machine monitor. Okay, then we have to know what is the physical machine. You have to know physical machine is nothing but your own machine loaded with any OS. Okay, your machine will be loaded with any OS that we tell as a physical machine. And what is a virtual machine is you are creating some machine by using what? Hypervisor software or virtual machine monitor. Using that you are going to create some machine. That machine will tell us guest OS. The OS we install in that machine will tell us guest OS. Okay. Then you have to know hypervisor. So hypervisor is a software which is used for creating virtual machine. Again, you have to know here there are two types of hypervisor. Type 1 hypervisor, or it is known as bare metal hypervisor. Okay, in the industry, they will not use the word type 1. They will tell just as a bare metal hypervisor. Okay, that's first type. Second one is what? Type 2 hypervisor or hosted hypervisor. Okay, now you have to know the difference between type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. The main difference is in type 2 hypervisor, OS will be there. Okay, your machine will be there or server will be there. Your machine or server will be pre-installed with an OS. That's physical OS will be there. Our host OS will be there. In that host OS, what you do is you will install a virtualization layer. You will install a virtualization layer, or you will create a virtualization layer by using a hypervisor. Okay, by using hypervisor such as VirtualBox or VMware. And by using that hypervisor software, what you will do is you will create a virtual machine, and in that virtual machine you will install the guest OS. Okay, that's the difference here. Okay, you have to know the clear difference. You have to know for type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. Then we learn cloud computing services, that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service we learned. Then we learned about cloud computing deployment models, public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud we learned. Then we learned what are the different service providers present in the market. Okay, I told this. AWS, Amazon AWS is a key player which holds 53% market share in cloud computing, and the Google Cloud Platform, which is going to share only 6 to 7% of the market share, and Alibaba Cloud, which is going to share 5 to 6%, and the top leader in Southeast Asia Pacific region. That's our region is Alibaba Cloud. Then we learned how to download VirtualBox. Okay, I shared the link for downloading the VirtualBox and how to install the VirtualBox we learned, and we learned how to download VMware Workstation from the VMware website directly. Okay, if you want to download directly from the VMware website, what you have to do is you have to create a VMware account. It's not a tedious process to create a account. Just you have to provide your email ID. OTP will be coming to the mail. Just you have to provide that. Okay, you have to create an account in VMware, and you can download the VMware Workstation from the VMware. Again, one more thing you have to note here is it is not free. Okay, VirtualBox is open source. It is freely available. You can use that. But VMware, it is not free. Trial version is available for 30 days. Okay, you can install the trial version and you can use that. If you want to move to the after 30 days, if you want to use, you have to use some additional SAC key or you have to purchase a license. Okay, that is the process of VMware Workstation. Then we learned how to install different set of flavors of OS. Here we learned how to install LAS OS, then how to install Linux, that is Ubuntu OS, and how to install Windows 7 OS. Yeah, for the 3 OS, if you want to install, what you have to do is you have to download the OS image file. It is a compulsory. Without downloading the OS image file, you cannot install. You have to download the OS image file. You can download from the various websites. I told that www.osboxes.com is one of the website from where you can download the image file. Then after that, you have to create a virtual machine. Both VirtualBox and VMware, you have to create a virtual machine, and you have to import this OS image file, and you have to run that OS. Okay, here what OS you are installing in the VirtualBox, the name is guest OS. You have to remember that. Okay, in most of the cases, in the next exercise also, we are going to use terms. It's very, very important. Physical OS, you have to know the difference between the physical OS, guest OS. Then host OS is also nothing but is a physical OS. Okay, so 2 names are there: physical OS, host OS, guest OS. Guest OS is the OS which you installed in the virtual machine. Okay, that's all for the day. Thank you for the patient listening my webinar. Okay, thank you. Over to our HOD, Dr. R.P. Andokumar.
Gavaskar, I found 2 questions in the chat window. What is whether it will install in 32-bit OS, sir?
Yes. We can install.
Yeah.
In VirtualBox, 32-bit OS we can install in VirtualBox, and VMware also we can install.
I request the participants, you can type your queries in the chat window so that it will be addressed by the resource person. Gavaskar, another question. What is the minimum storage and memory required for installing 3 guest OS like Windows, Ubuntu, and DOS?
Yeah, that's what I told. Capacity planning is very, very important. Okay, in your physical machine, you think that your physical machine contain only 100 GB storage, 100 GB storage is there. Okay, now if you are assigning one guest OS 10 GB or 20 GB, if you are assigning another OS 30 GB, so 50 GB is over. Again, one more OS if you are creating with 30 GB, another one is over. Now only at the same time, if you are running both three guest OS and your physical machine, now your physical machine holds only what? Only 20 GB storage. Okay, so you have to plan that capacity. Okay, that's nothing but what amount of physical storage is present in your physical machine that you are going to share. Okay, and again, this memory will not be a main problem. No, we are not going to use more memory in the guest OS, but the main problem comes in the RAM. RAM sharing is a main problem. Okay, if your RAM capacity is 2 GB, you consider that your RAM capacity is 2 GB. For guest OS 1, you are assigned 1 GB, and guest OS 2, you are assigned 2 GB. Now you see, at the same time, if you are running guest OS 1, guest OS 2, and the physical machine, your physical machine will be hanging, will not run. Why? The reason is 1 GB is allotted for the guest machine 1, guest OS 1, and another 1 GB is allotted for the guest OS 2. So the physical machine, there is no RAM for running. So what will happen is your physical machine will hang, will not run. That's the thing. So what you can do is you can assign 1 GB for guest OS 1, and you can assign 0.5 GB for guest OS 2, so that for your physical machine 0.5 GB RAM will be there in your physical machine. Okay. Again, one more thing: 0.5 GB RAM, you can run the OS. But if you want to run a Photoshop or some tedious application, it is not possible to run in the physical OS. So that is the thing. Nothing but you have to plan accordingly. Okay. With the capacity planning, is very, very important, which plays an important role here. Okay, so I hope that I answered for the question.
Gavaskar, another one. To copy from host OS, you told some driver is needed for guest OS. From where we can find this driver?
Okay, that what you have to do is in the top, top one devices option will be there when you are installing the. So shall I share my VirtualBox I have installed in my system? Shall I share that and I explain this question?
Okay, you can.
Okay, I will explain this. I will explain by that video, sir. My system now it is not working. I will explain by that video. So now listen, all of you listen carefully. This is the important part. Okay, you will get confused in this. So next exercise, what we are going to do is we are going to share the file from the host OS, that is physical machine, to the virtual machine. Okay, that is guest OS. So how to do that? Please listen carefully. This I will share that video again for you. Okay, now see, listen. I hope that this window is visible for you. Yes.
Wait. It is loading. Yeah, now it is visible.
Yeah. Now you see after you are loading the virtual machine, and virtual OS, you see in the virtual machine you can see menus will be there: file, machine, view, input, devices. In the devices, last you see insert guest additional CD images. Okay, using this, what we are going to do is we are going to install some drivers. If you see you want to work with the network, some drivers should be there. Network driver should be installed. If you want to work with network driver should be there. If you want to work with the screen, you see this screen is what? Size is small. Okay, display driver should be there. Display driver you have to install, then only the display size will be bigger. So for installing that drivers, what you have to do is insert guest additional CD image. You have to click this. Okay, I will repeat this video again. You have to click this. Okay, you have to click this. Yeah, you have to click this. Yeah, you have to click this. Okay. Once again, please all of you listen. This is an important process step. So if you are creating the virtual machine, we have to share the files from the physical OS. Okay. So if you are not doing this step, it will not be shared. Okay. This option you have to click, so that now you see. Now you go to your computer, my computer. Now listen. Here, yeah. Now listen. This option will be there. Initially, this option will not be there. CD virtual guest additions. This will be there. Now what you have to do is to install this drivers. Just you have to click this option. Okay, come see. Some VirtualBox image will be there here. This initially this will not be there. This will not be shared for you. After clicking that only this will be shared for you. Okay, now you have to click that. You have to double click that, so that now installer will be open. Next. Okay. So this process again I will explain in the next class when we are going to install a C compiler. Okay, C compiler we got to share the file. So install. You see driver software. It's asking. Now what you have to do is you can share the file by using shared folder. Okay, in here some other option will be there that is not present in this video. Shared folder device. You put if you are going to device. You see I can if possible I can explain that. I can. Yeah, you see here shared folders. Here you see, listen. I hope that everyone is visible. Okay, now you see you click shared folder. Here you can share the file from the physical OS. You can share the file. That file will be displayed here. Okay, and USB also you can share. You can share if you are a USB drive. You cannot install. You cannot put USB drive in the guest OS. So it is not possible. We can put only in the physical OS, which is present. Okay, so USB also you can share. That is possible. That we will see in the next classes. Okay. Okay, sir. You have answered the question.
Okay, very great. Gavaskar, another one question. How hypervisor get installed without OS bare metal?
Yeah, that is bare metal hypervisor. That is a special type of hypervisor. When you are purchasing the machine, that's I told no, it is not used in the traditional. No, we cannot use that. Okay, we cannot use that. But it is in the corporate companies. No, when they are buying the server itself, that hypervisor software will be installed there. Okay, how we can demonstrate is we can install only in the hypervisor software we can install. Now I am going to demonstrate that in the last class for you. EXI server I am going to install. But actually in the corporate, what they will do now, when you are purchasing the machine itself, predefinedly this particular EXI server hypervisor will be installed in that particular machine. Okay, so that what we can do is we can type the IP address of the particular machine so that some GUI will be displayed for you. Graphical user interface will be displayed for you. You can create virtual machine and you can install guest OS in that particular virtual machine by using that graphical user interface itself. Okay, but the real-time case, no, we cannot demonstrate that. That's not possible. Okay, it's only in the software companies. No, they will use this bare metal hypervisor. Okay, so that is not possible for us to install that. No, it is when you are purchasing the machine itself, particular hypervisor will be installed. That's the thing. Okay, I hope that I answered for this, sir.
Yes,
Bare metal hypervisor. Yes.
Yeah, another question. What is the difference between start a virtual machine in normal start and headless start in Oracle VirtualBox?
What's up? Normal start and
headless start. Anything like that?
Normal start. I didn't. Normal start and another one I didn't hear.
Headless. HEADLESS.
Headless.
Yeah.
Headless, I didn't experience with that.
Okay, so we can reply and we can inform.
Reply. I will reply the chat window. Yeah. I will see that.
And sir, one hand raised. Can we permit him to speak?
Yeah. We can permit.
Yeah. So, Bastin Rogers. CC 1033, Bastin Rogers. So you can speak.
Someday he may be wrongly raised the window and.
No, you have typed this in chat window. This how many virtual OS can be installed in a host OS.
Okay. Gavaskar, another one. Any open source bare metal VM is there?
Bare metal. Any open source?
Bare metal.
Yeah, Hyper-V is there. Hyper-V is there. But again, I am telling that if you are installing that, no, it cannot be done by us. I hope that. Okay. It is available. Hyper-V, it is open source. What we are using, VMware EXI server, no, it is not open source. It is a licensed version. Hyper-V, it is open source. Hyper-V. I told in the slide, Hyper-V is open source. You can do that. But again, I hope that we cannot do that. I hope that. Okay. Clearly I cannot tell. I cannot give an answer for that. But it can be done. It is done by the companies. They will, when you are purchasing the server itself. Yes. When they are purchasing the server itself, this bare metal hypervisor will be installed there.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, sir. Please speak.
Hello, sir.
Sir, ask your question.
Gavaskar, sir.
Tell me, sir.
Gavaskar, sir. I am Bastin Rogers from Stella Maris College of Engineering, sir.
Yeah. Tell me, sir. What is it?
Sir, I really appreciate for this wonderful session, sir. First, you show how to download the virtual box and the VMware, and you install the OS there. You have My question is, sir, how many virtual OS can be installed in a host OS, sir, in Oracle VirtualBox? How many virtual OS can be
Yeah.
installed?
That's nothing, but there is no limit. There is no limit. N number of OS you can install, but the limit is the capacity planning is play an important role here. So that is nothing but what is the storage? What is the amount of storage present in your physical machine, and what is the RAM size present in your physical machine plays a role here. Okay.
Okay, sir. Based on the RAMs.
Yeah, RAM and storage, you can do that. Mainly, storage is also no problem. If you are allotting 100 GB, you will not use 100 GB in guest OS. But the RAM plays here a very important role. Minimum 6 GB RAM should be there. Then only you can install minimum 5 to 6 guest OS you can install. In my system, my case, in my system the 6 GB RAM is there. So what I can do at the same time I can run 5 to 6 guest OS. It's possible in my system. So one more question is there. So, question, sir. Hope that I answered for your question.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah. One more question is there, sir, regarding elasticity in cloud computing. So elasticity is nothing but we are scaling the resource in and out based on our requirement. We are going to scale the resource in and out, scale in and scale out. That's nothing but during the peak hours you need more service. So this is going to cloud computing, cloud service provider concept. Okay, you can, for example, if you are I'm talking about Alibaba Cloud. Okay, so if you are purchasing 10 servers you are purchasing in the Alibaba Cloud. You think that during the peak time, you see during the peak time, you think that peak time will be when you are taking class for your students. No, it will be a peak time for that time. At the peak time, you need additional 2 more servers. Okay, 2 more servers is needed additionally. So by using elasticity concept, what you can do you can scale it, auto scaling, we can do that. Okay, what we can do is automatically your server will be migrated to 12 servers. Okay, that is elasticity. Okay, it will be done based on the requirement, based on the demand. Again, the particular 1 hour, the peak demand will be there. After the 1 hour, the normal scenario will be there. So what it will do is automatically what it will do is scale out will happen. Scale in will happen. Okay, so automatically it will come for the 10 servers. Okay, that is what elasticity. It's an important concept. Why we are moving to cloud service providers. Okay, you see, if I am using on-premise cloud, you may have 20 servers. You may initially 20 servers will be there, but you see, majority of the time the 20 servers will not be using. Okay. Again, what you can do, we may be using 10 servers. 10 servers will be there ideally for 1 or 2 years. Okay. So if you are moving to cloud, Alibaba Cloud or any cloud service provider, so you can plan your capacity based on the demand. Okay. Initially you plan for 10 servers. Again, if 10 servers, if some servers are idle, what you can do? You can plan for 5 servers. Okay. You did not want to invest more on the server cost. Okay. If you are planning for 20 servers and if you are investing more, it will cost more. But what you can do is instead of that, you can use cloud service provider. Alibaba Cloud is the best cloud service provider you can deal with, since it is a number 1 in Asia Pacific region. Okay. Sir, this question is clear, I think. Any more questions I can ask regarding the cloud service provider also?
Not free. How can we use this for giving lab sessions to our students?
Which, sir? VMware is not free. Yes. That's it. Okay. That's a thing. What you can do is 30-day trial version is there. Okay. If you are downloading from the VMware website, 30-day trial version is there. Moreover, if you know how to crack version key is there in the net. Okay. You can use that also. Okay. In my case, what I have done is I have installed VMware 2 to 3 months back. Okay. Now it is the version is this SPED actually. License is SPED. What I have done is I have got some key. It is not legal. I have got some key from the net and I am using that. So one of the way. Another way is what you can do is you can uninstall that. And you can clear the registry in your Windows. Registry will be there. You can clear the registry after 30 days, and then again you can install that. Again you can use for another 30 days. That is also possible. Moreover, when we are using for students, within 30 days you can cover most of the programs. You can cover. Okay, that's a way. Okay, no other way. Go. So
Any more doubts from the audience?
So one thing, what is the use of on-demand provisioning in cloud computing? The chat
That's what I
window.
explained. On-demand provisioning, I can explain once again with a real-time example for you. You think that everyone heard about Big Billion Day in Flipkart? Yes, yes or no? Everyone maybe heard about Big Billion Day in Flipkart. You see that time, the particular 12 p.m., 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. or from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Some office will be there. Some office will be there in the Big Billion Day in Flipkart. Okay, that time you see n number of users, millions of users will be accessing the particular website and particular service. So that time demand will be more. So you see, normally if 100 surveys are there, that time we need what 200 or 300 surveys we need. Why? Millions of requests is coming to the Flipkart website. So we got to do that. We got to provision that. If you are provisioning manually, again you see what will happen. 100 surveys we got to provision. It will take more time. So what we can do is in cloud service providers or in Alibaba Cloud, if in Alibaba Cloud, on-demand provisioning is there. That's what we can set that auto scaling. We tell that as auto scaling. If you that option we got checking that based on the user demand, the server will be scaling. Okay, server will be scaling. Again, some more concept is there. Serverless computing concept is there. That again here the server will be added automatically. Based on the user demand, based on the peak traffic workload, the server will be scaled automatically. That is the main advantage of what using cloud service providers. Okay, so that is the thing happened in our Big Billion Day. You can relate that, then you will understand clearly. Okay, Big Billion Day, 100 millions of requests will come. If you want to process that, we cannot process that by the ordinary service which we are present. We have to scale that. So that is known as on-demand scaling. On-demand, it will be last only for 1 hour or 2 hours. After that, the normal peak normal workload will be there. Okay, I hope that you answered for that question also. On-demand. Yes. Yeah, migrating. Yeah, some more question is there. This is another important question. Now, is it possible to migrate instance running on one virtual machine to another virtual machine? So it's a good question. You can migrate, but in virtual machine, live migration is not supported. Okay, live migration is not supported in virtual machine, but in case of cloud service providers, I told no Alibaba Cloud or AWS, live migration is possible. But in case of our virtual machine, live migration is not possible. What we can do is we can do migration by 2 ways. Two to 3 ways are there. I will explain. The first way is what you have to do is you have to create a snapshot. Okay, and you have to import the snapshot. And another way is what you can create the copy of the particular instance you can create, and you can import that. Okay, and another one is all the files are stored in VDI format. Okay, on VDI format is there. Okay, all the files, it's the image file will be stored in VDI format. Again, it will be stored in one folder. Okay, in your documents, VM virtual machine, one folder will be created. There it will be stored. That file you can import in any virtual machine. Okay, another one option is you can create appliance. Okay, appliance is another one feature which is present. If possible, I will explain the next class. Appliance you can create, and that will be in OVI format, open virtual image format. Okay, that open virtual image format, what you can do is you can import in any virtual box. You can import in VirtualBox as well as VMware workstation also. In any hypervisor, what you can do is OPI format you can import. Okay, I hope that I answered this question. So you can do by using the replica. You can create the copy. The second way is what you can do by using creating a snapshot. Third way is you can create by using what? Using third way, no, you can create by using an appliance. Okay, that's the thing. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Gavaskar. Now we crossed 1 o'clock. Many may be having another schedule. So I over to Varun for the feedback session.
So participants, let me share the feedback link in the chat window. So you please click that link and fill the feedback form.
Sir, one more question is there, sir.
So, Gavaskar sir, 1 minute. Let me explain them regarding the feedback. So feedback form will be asking your that login credentials. So give that credentials clearly and fill the feedback form. Gavaskar sir, you can continue.
Yeah, one more question regarding the security. in identity access management is there. Okay, identity access management. It is not supported by VirtualBox. It is supported only by the cloud service provider. Alibaba Cloud is also supporting internet access identity access management. Again, one more thing is there. Multi-factor authentication is there. Okay, that is nothing but it will send when you are logging. It will send an SMS to your mobile. So using that, it will send OTP to your mobile. Using that, you can log in. That is nothing but that is regarding the security, identity access management. Here we can create security by using role, by using user also. We can create some security settings. We can do by using role also. We can do by using group also. We can use some security settings. We can do. This is not normally used by the cloud service providers. Identity access management and multi-factor authentication. Okay, I hope that answered for that question. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gavaskar. On behalf of all the participants, I thank you very much because today a clear demonstration. Everyone can understand. Again, this session is already recorded, so it will be shared to all the participants through YouTube link. So that will be shared and that will be taken care by Varun sir. And Varun sir, can you give what are the instructions for tomorrow? How they have to log in? Like that, you can share your instructions.
Yeah. The participants today, many of them have joined with some other names. Okay, as the attendance is automatic, so the server will be taking your login credentials as your attendance. So if you are logging in with some other names or not in a prescribed format, it won't consider it as an attendance. So it will be marked as for you. So kindly follow that. So we have sent you a mail regarding the get into the FTP, a video also sent to you. So you can go through that video and check clearly, check how to get inside. And those who are not getting with the prescribed login credential, please go through that video. And from tomorrow, you need to get inside with that particular login credential. As it is a first day, we have opened that anybody can get in. From tomorrow, those who are not coming in through prescribed login credential, they may not be permitted to get inside. Okay, so tomorrow, please be prepared and see the video and be prepared for getting inside. So kindly get inside with the prescribed login format. Otherwise, you may not be permitted to get inside this room. So please keep it in mind. Thank you. Enter, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for the instruction. Once again, I thank Gavaskar for the wonderful presentation. I know that you are preparing for 3 weeks for this demonstration. Thank you very much, Gavaskar.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Anders.
Yeah. Okay. So you may be coming for the another session on 18th. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Gavaskar. Then one more announcement to the participants. We are hosting another faculty development program on cyber security from 22nd onwards. It is also a 1 week program from 22nd to 27. Our organizing team may be sharing the link to you today or tomorrow through mail, or tomorrow we will be sharing it through the chat window also. So I request you can participate in that also. E-certificates will be provided for that faculty development program also. Also, I thank our system administrator, Anthony Jones Kumar sir, who is behind for all this activity. And once again, thank Varun, because he is hosting this event. Thank you, Varun. Thank you, Anthony sir. I thank all the participants for joining with here. Tomorrow, I request all of you to join with us at 10:50 sharply, so we can start the session at 11 o'clock. Also, I request all of you to attend the full session because it is a workshop type faculty development program. So if you are missing something, you won't get the continuity. So I request all of you to continuously attend this program. Also, please avoid other activities during this faculty development program. Then only you will be getting the full bandwidth for the video session and all. Thank you very much. Once again, thank all of you. Thank you very much. Varun, we can stop the recording.